Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast.
Today, we're discussing Chapter 80, A Thief is a Thief.
And what a title, because this chapter is all about taking things, stealing treasure, stealing hope, stealing 8 years of a person's life. Arlong just played the dirtiest, most foul, most super disgusting card imaginable.
He didn't just move the goalposts. He burned the entire field down, salted the earth, and then sent her a bill for the matches.
It's pure, calculated evil. It's the kind of evil that makes you want to see a fishman, get punched so hard he flies back to the Grand Line. If hearing about Nami's struggle makes you believe in this crew's cause, follow the show. You'll get a new episode every time they step up to fight for one of their own. And trust me, a fight is coming.
A big one. But first, we have to understand the sacrifice that led to it. The story picks up right where we left off, with Nojiko telling the story, filling in the gaps for Usopp and Sanji.
Yeah, and it just gets heavier. She lays it all out. Nami saw Belmare die and immediately understood the math. 1 life for the village. Arlong wasn't going to stop, so she offered herself, her life, her skills as a cartographer, in exchange for leaving everyone else alone.
At 8 years old. Think about that. At an age when most children are worried about scraped knees and what's for dinner, she was negotiating with a monster for the lives of her entire community. She saw the chessboard for what it was and sacrificed her own queen to prevent a checkmate.
It's an impossible choice. She joins the man who murdered her mother to save the village her mother died for. Every single day she has to wake up and work for him, draw maps for him, and be a part of his crew. The sheer mental fortitude that takes is it's off the charts. It's a level of self-sacrifice we haven't even seen from the crew yet.
And you see Sanji and Usopp just vibrating with rage. Sanji's screaming he's gonna kill them, which is exactly what I'm feeling, you know? It's the only correct response. Usopp is crying, completely overwhelmed by the horror of it all. But Nojiko just clocks Sanji one on the head.
Whack, right on the dome. And I get it, but I'm with Sanji. You hear a story like that about your friend, your nakama, and the first instinct is righteous fury. It's point me in his direction. I'm going to kick his teeth in.
It is for them, but it can't be for the people of Cocoyasi. Nojiko tells him to shut up. That kind of talk is dangerous. It's a luxury they can't afford. For 8 years, they have lived under a reign of terror, where one wrong word could mean death. Sanji's reaction is pure, it's heartfelt, but it's also naive to their reality.
And this is the part that's so tough. Nojiko explains that by showing up and calling Nami their friend, their nakama, they're undoing everything. They're making Arlong doubt her loyalty, putting her 8 years of work at risk. 8 years of pure misery, of being hated and feared, all to keep the village safe.
She's been walking a tightrope, a masterful, tragic performance. She has to be a convincing member of Arlong's crew, hated by her own village, so that he never, ever suspects she's planning to betray him. The Straw Hats showing up, full of friendship and righteous anger, is a direct threat to that performance. They are a variable she cannot control.
It's the ultimate be careful what you wish for moment. The crew is here to save her, but their very presence could be the thing that gets her killed, or worse, gets the village destroyed, which would make her entire sacrifice meaningless. Nojiko basically tells them to back off and not make Nami suffer anymore.
And as she's saying this, we flash back to the moment it happened. We see the actual deal being made. Little Nami, tear tracks on her face, but her eyes full of defiance, joining Arlong's crew with one condition.
She's going to earn the money to buy the village back. And Arlong, like the smug, predatory shark he is, just laughs. He names a price he thinks is impossible, 100 million Beli.
A fortune! To put that in perspective, a truly high-level pirate bounty in the East Blue might be around 20 million. He's asking for a king's ransom, something like 5 times what a top-tier pirate is worth. For a child on a single island in the weakest sea, it's an astronomical sum. It's an amount designed to break her spirit from the start.
It's a sentence. He's sentencing her to a lifetime of servitude, but packaging it as a chance. It's psychological torture. He gives her this one sliver of hope so he can watch her struggle and fail for the rest of her life. He gets a master cartographer, and he gets to crush the spirit of Belmer's daughter day after day.
But it didn't work. That's the thing about Nami. He underestimated her resolve, her intelligence. And we find out from Nojiko that just recently she was almost there. She had 93 million, only 7 million left. 8 years of stealing from other pirates, of living a lie, and she was at the finish line.
Can we just take a second to appreciate that? 93 million Beli. This girl, practically on her own, amassed a treasure that would make most pirate crews in the sea weep with envy. She didn't just survive, she was succeeding. She was a hair's breadth away from winning the unwinnable game.
The sheer force of will required is staggering. To maintain that hope alone for that long while being surrounded by your mother's killer and his cronies, to have to smile and play your part, all while counting every single coin, knowing it brings you one step closer to freedom.
And all while her own village thinks she betrayed them, or so she thinks. That dedication is just... It's the heart of a straw hat right there. Even before she truly joined, she fights for her people, no matter the cost to herself.
And that's when the story crashes back into the present and everything goes wrong. The hope that Nojiko just built up is immediately shattered. Back at Nami's house, Genzo, the town sheriff with the pinwheel on his hat, shows up.
But he's not alone. He's got Marines with him, specifically this rat-faced guy, Captain Nezumi.
Nezumi, literally rat in Japanese. Oda is not subtle with this one. It's a recurring theme with him. Characters who embody a certain trait often have a name or a physical feature that gives it away. It's part of the theatrical, larger-than-life nature of this world.
Not at all. He looks like a rat, he acts like a rat, and he walks up to Nami and asks if she's the criminal everyone's talking about. Nami just owns it. She says, "Yeah, I guess so. I work for Arlong, so you should probably just leave me alone." She's trying to use Arlong's name as a shield.
It's the only power she has, the only card she can play. For 8 years, the name Arlong has been a source of terror, but for her, it was also a form of protection. It was the boogeyman she could point to keep others away.
But Nezumi just laughs in her face. He just smirks and says he has no idea what she's talking about. He calls her a petty thief and says all that treasure she stole, it's government property now.
This is a critical moment for the world building. This is the first time the story has explicitly invoked the government in this way. Not just the Marines as a military force, but the political entity that owns things, that confiscates things. And they're using that authority to seize money a girl earned to save her village from a tyrant the Marines refused to stop.
The absolute hypocrisy is infuriating. It makes my blood boil. Nami tries again. She doubles down. She warns him. I'm part of Arlong's crew. But he doesn't even flinch. He just orders his men to search the place.
He knows something she doesn't. His lack of fear is the biggest red flag in the entire chapter. Up until now, every single person has been terrified of Arlong. This Marine captain, who seems physically unimpressive, is utterly unbothered. That can only mean one thing.
Nami isn't going down without a fight, though. She pulls out her bow staff and starts wailing on these Marines, screaming at them to get away from her tangerine grove, away from her mother's memory, away from her one and only hope. And Genzo is right there, yelling at Nezumi, trying to stop him.
And this is where the first huge secret drops, the first of 2 emotional bombshells in this chapter. Genzo yells that Nami needs that money to save the village because the Marines wouldn't do a thing to help them.
And Nami just freezes. You see the shock on her face. Her whole world just tilted on its axis. You knew?
He knew. They all knew. Genzo reveals that Nojiko told the whole village years ago. They knew about the deal. They knew what she was doing. They knew every coin she stole was for them.
This moment, man, it changes everything. It recontextualizes every cold shoulder, every hateful glare she's received for the last 8 years. They weren't shunning her. They weren't looking at her with hatred. They were protecting her secret. They were acting.
They knew if they let on that they supported her, that they were waiting for her, the pressure would be too much. Arlong might have gotten suspicious, or, as Genzo says, they were afraid she'd run away from the burden, feeling she had to carry it alone. So they put on a performance, just like she did. They acted like they hated her to protect her.
The entire village was in on it. They were carrying that burden with her in silence for 8 years, every single person. That's not just a town, that's a family, a real ride-or-die family. Belmare would be so damn proud.
It's a collective sacrifice that mirrors Nami's own. She endured hatred to save them, and they endured their own pain, pretending to hate one of their own children to protect her. It's an incredibly complex and poignant expression of love.
Nojiko shows up then too and just lays into the Marines, denouncing them for their cowardice, for failing to protect them. But Nezumi just ignores it all. He's a man on a mission. His men find the treasure, hidden carefully under the tangerine patch.
And Nami's brain, her brilliant navigator brain that can read the subtlest shifts in weather and ocean currents, starts putting the pieces together. She's watching Nezumi. He knew exactly how much money there was. He knew where to look. And he laughed when Nojiko threatened him with Arlong's wrath.
The dread just sinks in. You can see it on her face as the gears turn. He isn't scared of Arlong. He's working with Arlong.
He's not afraid of Arlong because Arlong sent him.
That's the dagger, the chilling, soul-crushing realization. The Marines aren't here by chance. They're Arlong's hired guns. The system she thought was just incompetent or neglectful is actively working for the enemy. It's corrupt to the core.
It's a perfect trap. It's diabolical. Arlong let her do all the work, take all the risks, steal all the money. He let her get to the very edge of hope. And just when she's about to win, he uses the law, the authority of the world government, to come and take it all away from her. He remains untouchable. He didn't break his promise. He just had someone else do it for him.
It is the single most cruel thing a villain has done so far in this series. Kuro was tricky, Krieg was brutal, but this is on another level. It's not just a punch, it's the systematic destruction of a person's entire life's work and hope. He didn't just rob her, he invalidated her entire existence for the last 8 years.
She has nothing left to do but confront him. She runs to Arlong Park, the place that has been her prison for nearly a decade.
And the scene is just disgusting. It's sickening. She confronts him, screaming, desperate, telling him he broke their agreement. And he just grabs her by the face, this giant fishman hand covering her mouth, silencing her, and laughs. He laughs right in her broken face.
He tells her he did no such thing. He never laid a hand on her treasure. He feigns ignorance with this vile, condescending tone.
He says technically he never broke the deal. He just heard about a notorious thief hiding a massive treasure, so as a concerned citizen, he tipped off a local Marine captain. If that Marine decided to confiscate it for the world government, well, that has nothing to do with him.
It's the loophole, the fine print in a demon's contract. He used her belief in a system, however flawed, against her. He knew she wouldn't expect the Marines and the pirates to be on the same side. He exploited the very concept of law and order to commit the most lawless act imaginable.
And that's the devastating note it ends on. Nami completely and totally broken, cursing him for deceiving her. 8 years of her life gone. 93 million Beli gone. All her hope just turned to ash by a technicality.
He didn't just steal her money. He stole her future. He stole the very idea that she could ever escape. He made sure she could never, ever leave. He owns her not by contract, but by despair.
And man, after all that, I don't think I've ever been this angry at a villain before. This is personal. This is for Nami.
The emotional weight of this is immense. It perfectly sets the stage for the Straw Hats to do what they do best, because this kind of systematic, soul-crushing despair is exactly the kind of thing Luffy cannot and will not tolerate.
They don't fight for treasure or glory. They fight for their friends. And Nami has never needed them more than she does right now.
Okay, but think about what this means for the world itself. We've seen bad Marines like Axe Hand Morgan, who were just personally corrupt, drunk on their own power within a single base. This is different. This is a branch of the world government being used as a weapon by a pirate. It implies a level of systemic rot we haven't seen before.
It tells you that justice is for sale, that the people at the top don't care about a place like Cocoyasi Village as long as the bribes keep coming. It makes the world feel so much bigger and so much more dangerous. Before, the enemy was just the pirate in front of you. Now, the enemy might be the system itself.
It also recontextualizes Luffy's hatred for being called a hero. A hero is supposed to uphold a system, to protect the institutions of justice. Luffy doesn't care about the system. He cares about his friends having the freedom to eat and laugh. And here, the system is the source of his friends' suffering.
Exactly. The system is what's crushing Nami. The system is the enemy here, just as much as Arlong is. He's just the one taking advantage of it. And Luffy is the chaos that breaks broken systems. He's the wrench in the corrupt machine.
It also makes you appreciate a figure like Garp even more in retrospect. Knowing there are Marines like this rat Nezumi out there who will sell their badge for a bit of belly highlights how special someone like Garp or a future Kobe really is. They're not just fighting pirates, they're fighting corruption within their own ranks, an internal battle as well as an external one.
For sure. But right now, I don't care about good Marines. I just care about one crew of pirates showing these phonies what real strength and loyalty looks like. I cannot wait for the confrontation. Super! That's the one. That moment when Arlong laughs, realizing he's broken her, that's the moment that guarantees his own destruction. He overplayed his hand.
It's the moment he signed his own death warrant. He just doesn't know who's going to deliver it yet. He thinks he's won. He thinks he's crushed the last ember of hope on this island.
Oh, but we do. A certain boy in a straw hat is about to find out what happened. Arlong has no idea what's coming for him.
The story leaves Nami in despair, but for us, it creates this sense of impending catharsis. The reckoning is coming.
It's going to be glorious. Arlong Park is getting a super renovation, courtesy of the Straw Hat Pirates.
This part of the story weaves so many threads together. The village's secret, the government's corruption, Arlong's cunning cruelty, and Nami's incredible strength. If you're trying to map out all these connections with us, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear what details stood out to you.
Yeah, let's get into what's next. Time for predictions. My first one is for Luffy. We haven't seen his reaction to the end of the story yet. I think things are going to start with a quiet moment. No big declarations, no shouting. Nami is going to be at her absolute lowest. Maybe she stumbles back to the Tangerine Grove, just destroyed, and Luffy will find her there. He won't say, let's go fight him. He'll just see her pain, see her crying, maybe see her hurting herself in frustration, and that's it. Decision made. The next time we see him, he'll be walking toward Arlong Park.
I like that. It's quiet but decisive. My first prediction is about the village. Genzo and the others have been holding back for 8 years to protect Nami's plan. That plan is now officially gone. I predict they're going to decide to fight. Their performance is over. The secret is out. I think we'll see a montage of them arming themselves, fishermen with harpoons, farmers with pitchforks, preparing for a final suicidal stand against Arlong's crew. They'd rather die on their feet than live another day under his thumb now that all hope is lost. It'll be their moment of defiance, right before the Straw Hats arrive to turn the tide.
Ooh, I can totally see that. It's their turn to fight for Nami. My second prediction is for Zoro. He slept through the whole story. It's a great gag, but it's also setting something up. I predict he's going to wake up, maybe stretch, and find everyone gone. He'll get a one-sentence summary from Johnny or Yosaku, something simple and direct, like, Arlong betrayed Nami and made her cry. And Zoro will just stand up, grab his swords, and say, which way? No questions, no details needed. A friend is hurt. That's all he needs to know. It's what he does.
That feels very in character. Simple cause and effect for Zoro. My final prediction connects to Nezumi, the Marine captain. He has Nami's 93 million belly. I don't think he's just going to deliver it to Arlong. A rat is a rat, after all. I predict he's going to try and double-cross Arlong and flee the island with the money for himself. This will either be a side plot where someone like Sanji or Usopp has to intercept him to get the money back,
Or it'll be the reason Arlong's forces are slightly distracted when Luffy makes his grand entrance. His greed will create an opening, and maybe it was even part of Arlong's plan to let him think he could get away with it, just to have an excuse to kill him later.
Ooh, a double cross. I love that. Treachery among thieves. A fitting end for a character named Rat. This is it. The fuse has been lit. Now we're just waiting for the explosion.
I also just want to mention Oda's author comment for the week. He said he has 3 favorite watches, but the batteries are all dead. It's such a simple, mundane little thought from the man who just emotionally devastated his entire readership.
Leave it to Oda to be thinking about watch batteries while he's running one of the most heartbreaking, rage-inducing chapters of the entire series so far. He's probably just typing away, and then Arlong laughs. And then he stops, looks at his wrist, and goes, "Oh man, my G-Shock is dead again."
The duality of the man. He's worried about his watches while we're all sitting here agonizing over Nami's stolen time. 8 years of it. A perfect, if unintentional, contrast.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Join us next time as we watch the storm that is Monkey D. Luffy make landfall on Arlong Park. It's going to be super.
Until then, this has been Inherited Dawn.